But the Orioles took game 1 of the series last night. Tonight, game 2 features Chris Tillman and Max Scherzer, with both teams trying to keep their playoff hopes within reach. Another gorgeous night for baseball in our nation's capital. Yeah, go Nats indeed. Fans scanning their tickets. By the way, the guy on the left is 0 for 11 career against the guy on the right. Let's hope it stays that way. Machado and Scherzer could be one of the big matchups in game 2 tonight. The Nats have to get back on the winning track, dropping a weird ball game here last night. If Max Scherzer has anything to do with it, things will be looking good, because he kind of is looking like the guy who pitched all those innings and pitched so well middle of the season.
Well, we always talk about the last 15 pitches of every Max Scherzer start, but we're talking about the last 2 or 3 starts for Max Scherzer. You get the feeling that he's emptying the tank. Whatever he's got left, he's giving this ball club. And when he was on the mound with Matt Williams last time, that's all you need to know about Max Scherzer's personality. So the last 5 starts, 36 strikeouts, 3 walks, and he's doing that empty the tank thing. You feel like it's the Max Scherzer from the first half of the season.
12-11 on the year, 4-1 career against the Baltimore Orioles. Had a good game at Camden Yards earlier this season. So the 13th at Miami, 8 innings, didn't give up anything. And then 5 days later, again against the Marlins, no decision, 2 runs on 7 hits. Look out, Steven Strasburg. Max Scherzer may be the all-time single-season strikeout guy soon.
He's got 237, 242 is the record, so he needs 6 strikeouts. And get this, he struck out 6 or more in 26 of his 30 starts. So looks like a good chance it might happen here tonight.
Yeah, and really not that amazing that the same names keep appearing on that list. So Clint's ready, Bryce is ready, Michael A. is ready. The Nats need to generate some offense. Ian Desmond and the Nats against Chris Tillman in a moment. On Masson, brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you, and by Maryland Basketball. Men's basketball season tickets on sale now and start at just $349. Visit umterps.com or call 1-800-I'm-A-Terp. Fear the turtle. That's looking for a Curly W at home tonight. The Mets are throwing Bartolo Colon against the Braves and Williams Perez up in New York. So back to the winning track is where Washington needs to go. Beautiful night. Clear skies. Just about at twilight time right now. 72 degrees. It is a postcard middle of September evening. The Orioles are 7th in the American League in runs, 4th in homers, and Chris Davis is the big reason they have 200 home runs with 43 of his own, 110 RBIs, number 2 to Josh Donaldson of Toronto, who has 120, and Chris Davis also has 7 career hits and a home run against Max Scherzer, who faces the O's for the 8th time in his career.
Fastball averaging a solid 94 miles an hour. Slider, curveball, change to complement. 7 strong innings his last start against the Marlins. Gave up 2 runs on 5 hits, struck out 6, walked 3 through 104 pitches, and had an eventful trip to the mound with his skipper asking politely to stay in the game.
I won it. Here we go. 7:06 first pitch. Swing and a miss. Gerardo Parra. Parra 328 in 100 games with Milwaukee. Traded over here for a minor league pitcher. And we'll see what the Orioles have in mind for a long-term plan, if there is one, with this guy, who's one of the best defensive outfielders around. 222 in 44 games with 15 RBIs for the Baltimore Orioles, who are 2 games under 500. And a ball hit hard to right center. Bryce Harper back and over, and he's got it. That thing stung to the tune of about 370 feet.
Well, you just saw Bryce in right field. Michael Taylor's in center. Jason Worth is in left. Desmond Escobar the left side of the Nats infield tonight. Rendon Robinson the right side of the Nats infield tonight. And Wilson Ramos back behind the plate.
6th year in the big leagues for the home plate umpire Mark Ripperger tonight. Ed Hickox, Alan Porter, and the crew chief Brian O'Nora, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. There's O'Nora, who had the plate last night. Manny Machado, the hitter. Scherzer ahead. Manny 7th in the American League with 170 hits. He has scored 93 runs. 1-1. Orioles got a little help this afternoon. Angels beat the Astros, so Baltimore 4.5 back in the wild card race over in the other league, but a bunch of teams, a handful of them in front of them. 2-1 pitch. And Scherzer up in the zone with 88. Counts even. Ripped. Backhand. Escobar throws on target for a great play. 2nd out. Orioles have hit 2 balls well. The Nats have taken 2 hits away.
A good running catch by Bryce Harper on Gerardo Parra. Now, Yunel Escobar with a nifty little play on a short hop bullet topspin job off the bat of Manny Machado. Gets to his feet quickly, slings it across the infield. Max Scherzer fired up. Nice play by Yunel Escobar. That was a beauty.
And Escobar running out beyond second base now. Ian Desmond stays home. Scherzer goes for a stroll to give them time to do that, with the left-handed power guy Chris Davis coming in. Davis has a 3-game hitting streak with 5 hits. Scherzer starts him with a breaking ball.
When you dive for a ball in the early innings, you get mud all over your glove. Check out the outside of Yunel Escobar's glove. Recently watered dirt. You do that once that dirt dries, it just kind of dusts off. But look at Escobar's glove, how wet it is with mud. And you look at the inside, that's a bunch of stuff from the season. You get a good goo in there when you spin into it, and it helps the ball stick in your pocket. That's why you see guys spin in their glove all the time. There's maybe some rosin from the ball from the pitcher throughout 6 months. There's dirt in there, and maybe a little pine tar from a pine tar rag just to get that inside the pocket sticky. And you got to moisturize it with spit.
So you're trying to tell me that over months and months that thing turns into a pocket of filth?
It does, but a good filth.
Yeah.
It gets like gooey, and that's why you spit into it. It dries out every night in your locker, and you have to get it lubed up for the game.
3-1 pitch, way inside. Didn't miss Chris Davis by much, then it slammed off the backstop. So the Orioles have a base runner. Max Scherzer only his 30th walk of the year in 205 2/3.
I just kind of cut that fastball off and did it graze Mark Ripperger in the leg or the arm. I think it got him in the hand.
And third base umpire Crucci Brian Honor coming down to check on his teammate.
Yeah, it did get him in the hand.
They want the Nats training staff to come out, so Lee Kuntz is out of the dugout.
Watch his right hand. Right when it gets past Chris Davis, it's on his leg, and it got him square, maybe in the right thumb. And that's a 90s plus fastball, and you wonder if it broke something in there.
Well, look at the lump in there. He really took a shot. This is where the umpiring crew is going to depend on the expertise of Lee Kuntz to see what the next few minutes and maybe beyond that hold in store for Mark Ripperger, and evidently okay to stay in. You would think he's got to get some ice on that thing between innings. Wow. Cleanup man is Steve Pearce.
Keep an eye on how many strikes he calls after this. Yeah, I got to raise my right hand. Nope, that's a ball.
Pearce an RBI double last night in 4 trips. And Scherzer starts out both the 3 and 4 hitters with breaking stuff. Target in means here, right? 93 in there.
You remember last time Max faced the O's, it was July 12th, and Adam Jones got him twice, 2 home runs. He was 2 for 4 with 2 homers, 2 RBI. There was only 2 other hits for the Orioles. Paredes had 1 and Scope had 1. He went 8 2/3 and struck out 7, walked nobody. Adam Jones not in the lineup tonight.
And that ball hit well by Pearce. And the home run ball jumps up to get Max Scherzer again. 26th of the year, and it's 2-0 Baltimore. Steve Pearce hits his 14th.
Adam Jones not in there tonight, but Steve Pearce is. You see the location mistake. Wilson Ramos wanted it down and away. The ball tailed up and in right into Pierce's turbo zone. He turned on it, and just like that, it's a 2-0 game.
And a high fly ball to left off the bat of Matt Wieters. Jason Worth right up against the rail. And he kind of looked like Moises Alou looking up into the Wrigley Field seats there for a moment.
I didn't think you saw the young man say, "My bad."
Yeah, definitely reaching over.
They can call that an out. Matt Williams is going out to ask. If they deem that Jason Worth was going to catch that, the umpire's discretion can call that an out. And I think they want to look at it, talk about it. Because Jason Worth was camped, and you could make the argument, especially if you look at the replay, that he was going to catch that. It wasn't like he was reaching in the stands and you couldn't tell. And they are going to look at this, and this is not a challenge by Matt Williams. This is just an umpire review.
Well, it looked to us like Jason Worth was in a good position to catch that ball.
Yeah, I think once they look at this, there's a good chance that Matt Wieters might be out.
Fan definitely reached over the rail.
I think you look at Jason Worth and how he was camped. He wasn't moving. He wasn't jumping into the stands. He was just camped underneath it.
Interesting on this one, it's the third base umpire, the crew chief Brian O'Nora, crew chief always involved in putting on the headsets, and then the other umpire to join him.
It's Ed Hickok.
It's Ed Hickok's over from first base. Batter's out.
Yeah, it's a good call. Now Buck Showalter wants to talk to Brian O'Nora.
Pretty hard to argue with video evidence these days, isn't it? So a walk and a homer. Davis the walk, Pierce the homer. Jason Worth's glove was right there. Wouldn't have been an easy play, but the Nats get the call. On the review, Jason Worth in great position, as we noted, to make that catch. So here come the Nats with Anthony Rendon at the top of the lineup. Second in the league in runs to Arizona, third in home runs, and Bryce Harper last 22 games just absolutely tearing it up. If you think 406 is good, how about his numbers for September? 429. So here's Chris Tillman. 0-0 against the Nats in 4 starts, but he's never had a decision. The Orioles have won all 4 of those starts.
Yeah, 29th start of the year for Tillman. Last start September 17th against Tampa. Got the no decision. Gave up 3 earned runs on 5 hits over 5 2/3. Last 4 starts have been a struggle, though. 20 runs given up in 18 2/3 innings. And his away record this year for the Orioles, 4-5 with a 5.40.
Anthony Rendon has a career home run against him. 87 to the outside edge for a strike. Rendon checking in at 274. 0 for 4, 3 grounders, a strikeout, and a base on balls last night. And Tillman throwing off-speed stuff up there. Everybody with the Orioles who watch them every day talking about his lack of fastball command. And he's come out throwing some off-speed stuff here early. And Rendon hits that one well out to center. Parra going back, and he can't get it off the wall on a fly. Anthony Rendon into second base. So if the Nats are going to answer, that's a good start.
A ball really carrying in Nats Park tonight. I didn't think Anthony Rendon got enough of this with the inside-out swing to get over the head of Parra. But watch the carry of this ball. Parra thinks he's got it, then he has to turn out another gear and just comes up short as the ball hits off the wall. So that's how this one starts for the Nats. A leadoff double for Anthony Rendon, and there goes the no-hitter.
75th career double. There's Escobar, 5 for 9 career against Tillman.
Anthony finally getting rewarded for hitting the ball hard. He's had some tough luck here lately. You know, the only thing that Jason Worth's catch was missing was the Moises Alou temper tantrum after.
It was eerily similar, wasn't it? Where the ball hit in
the same spot,
reaching over.
Same kind of actions from Worth going up for it. He just didn't throw his glove down in a tizzy in the ground and then point at him.
Yeah.
Even though he probably wanted to.
Up the middle, base hit. Rendon coming around. Parra just now picking the ball up, so there's no throw to be made. And the Nats are right on the board with Escobar's 54th RBI. He's now hit safely 20 of his last 23 games.
Well, that's answering quick style. A couple bullets off the bats of the Nats. First a double. Now, you know, Escobar trying to move Anthony Rendon to third base. Does it the right way. Gets rewarded with a base hit and an RBI. Nicely done, Yunel Escobar. Bryce going to try to move himself over right here.
Harper against Tillman, 1 for 6. Shift on.
It's that purple wristband he has on, that bracelet. Some youngster in Philadelphia gave it to him. Sick kid. Handed it to him. He said, all right, I'll wear that. I think that's pretty cool.
Price is a man of the young people. No doubt about it. And that's well inside. Orioles didn't pitch to him much last night. 3 walks. He made 1 out, a pop fly to the shortstop, J.J. Hardy, who is out beyond the umpire, kind of where he is right now in the shift. Buck Showalter really moves his defense around a lot. Even did it for some right-handers last night, especially Michael A. Taylor. And now it's 2-1 as Tillman falls behind. And if you're looking for great body language and tempo from a pitcher who just got a 2-run lead, the Orioles aren't getting it. That's in there. Cutting to the inside edge. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That change up at 82.
Well, he has some kind of batting eye this year. It's just been impressive right out of the gate.
It's been bionic. Wow. Steve Austin-like.
Evidently, Bryce is seeing things other hitters don't see right now. He's walked 118 times, a new Nats record. You know he wants to swing the bat with guys on base. But if it's not a strike, he's not going to swing. 2 on, nobody out. Bryce Harper has driven in a lot of runs this year, but he also knows how to keep the line moving.
So the defense for the O's, Pierce, Parra, Flaherty, your outfield. Hardy, Machado left side, Scope Davis right side, Matt Wieters behind the plate. Ryan Flaherty, it's had a little outfield in 2012, played an inning and 2/3 since then. This is his first inning and his first time in the outfield this year for the O's.
Jason Worth now. Like Harper, 1 for 6 career against Tillman. This is the 6th game of the homestand. The Nats have fallen behind now in 5 of them, but they've gone 3-2 so far. And this is the 4th time in those ball games they've given up 2 runs in the first inning. Battling back a lot. That's a rocket, and out at second base is Escobar. Tried to get back. Scope got in behind him on a line drive, 6-4.
Well, maybe not the way Chris Tillman thought it up, but a double play for the Orioles nonetheless. Jason Worth hit the tar out of that line drive, and Yunel Escobar had nowhere to go. I mean, he really didn't make a mistake other than that little jab step. You see him square up to the ball, get back. It was just hit too hard. That's a hang with him. Good swing by Jason Worth. Good try by Yunel Escobar getting back. And so far in this one, Chris Tillman not fooling anybody.
Been pretty much the shift of all shifts here against Clint Robinson. A lot of traffic if Clint looks to his right of the pitcher.
I kind of lost track after a while, but I think Clint Robinson hit 400 taters in batting practice today.
That's a lot to count.
Yeah. That's why I lost track.
10 for his last 31 after 7:05 or 4:05 or 1:35. 4 walks, a homer, 3 RBIs his last 8 games. 2 for 3 career against the Baltimore right-hander. Clint got the start in that game Sunday, July 12th, and had 2 singles, 1 to left, 1 to right center. Ball 2. So he turned over that changeup right off the end of the bat. So the two-headed efficient ball player taking care of first base right now. Look what the left-handed hitting Robinson and the right-handed hitting Moore have done. Since the 8th of September, according to our STG numbers. Well, you give Tyler a start. He's been doing big-time damage.
Yeah, more playing time.
2-2. Mets have an early run against Williams Perez of Atlanta. 1-0 second inning. Clint Robinson called out. Fastball got him on the inner half. So the Nats score a run on the Rendon double. The Escobar base hit. Long first inning for both pitchers.
Park. Max Scherzer out for his second inning of work. It's been a season of streaks a little bit for Max Scherzer. Got off to a fantastic first half of the season, then hit some bumps in the second half before putting things together his last 2 outings. I asked Matt Williams earlier today what he thinks has been key for Scherzer over these last 2 starts when he's been pitching well. He said 2 things. The feel for the changeup has been important for him, and it will be again tonight with the Orioles having 4 lefties in there. Also, fastball to his glove side. That's down and away to righties, down and into lefties. Williams says that opens everything up. He's found that pitch again recently, although it looked like that fastball command a little off in the first inning, guys.
Yeah, Max really still not giving up many hits when he pitches. It's just been the home run balls. And when you're talking cars, you're talking Coons. That's Dan with our Coons.com sideline report. Jonathan Schoop, 1 for 3 career against Scherzer.
The fastball command, I think, to the arm side has been the bigger problem for Max in the second half, where he's trying to go down and away to lefties, and he's cutting it off and pulling it into them, into their turbo zone. Which, right there, you see, that was supposed to be down and into Schoop. He pulled it across the plate, and that's just a matter of reaching out and extending. And I think that more of a problem. But like I said last time, I've never seen a guy pay so dearly for location mistakes like Scherzer does. I know he's supplying a lot of power, but it seems like every little mistake he makes is going into the seats. Not just a base hit, not just a double, but they're home runs. And that part is what leaves you scratching your head.
2-2 pitch. High in the air and foul. While we have a moment, congratulations to one of our great ladies here with the Nationals, Carolyn Cardozo and her husband Michael. They are new grandparents. Jack Cardozo Levy arrived today, 7 pounds 14 ounces, to Eden and Ben Levy, proud parents. And congratulations, Carolyn and Michael. Grandma, Grandpa, well done. Now they want a curly W to go with that. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jonathan Schoop, who's hit 14 home runs. Swing and a miss, and Schoop is 0 for his last 11. First K of the night.
96-mile-an-hour fastball right by Jonathan Schoop. I mean, Jack's a good name, but I was thinking they should have named him Bryce.
STG Inc. Strikeouts per 9 innings this season. Scherzer and Kershaw, the top 2 National League guys. Max Scherzer came into this game second in strikeouts to Clayton Kershaw. Max now has 238, Kershaw 272. And he's also in the top 6 in innings, starting tonight with 205.
Masson Dan has a nice ring to it.
I don't know. Some things should not be duplicated.
Yeah, I guess just watch where Ramos is set up and watch where the pitch is. You see that? That's what I'm talking about. To the arm side, to me, has been the bigger issue for Max Scherzer in the second half. That's another example.
1-2 pitch with 1 out. That ball well hit. Well caught by Desmond. Ian just can't get a handle on it. Not sure he could have thrown out Flaherty coming out of the left-handed batter's box. And that one ruled a hit all the way with 1 out.
Well, it would have been interesting because the ball was hit hard. Flaherty can run, but Ian Desmond also has one of the better arms of any shortstop in baseball. So if he transfers this, you just wanted to see the throw. What a great glove play by Desmond, but he's had trouble this year putting the ball into his bare hand. We've seen that a few times. Great hustle, great effort.
Here's J.J. Hardy. That's a good running 94 to the outside edge. Already hitting only .214 this year. Career against Scherzer 4 for 26. Well, you get ahead, you can do a few things with that breaking ball. 0-2.
But see, that's the slider that if you're a hitter, you dread if you're facing Max Scherzer. The one that looks like a fastball and is real late, real tight, and subtle at the very end. It's got to be tough to pick up.
Got him. 2 Ks this inning. 239 on the year. And next up, the pitcher, Chris Tillman.
A slider and the changeup real good for Max tonight. So the off speed, check those boxes. Strike 2 a slider. Strike 3 a slider. And really not a lot of, not 2 either one, except for some late action.
Chris Tillman, no at-bats this year. Hasn't started any interleague games. He's 0 for 10 career. Orioles, by the way, 10-8 interleague this year. The Nats 8-10.
Those big sweeping sliders, the frisbees, sometimes those are real easy to pick up because they have a 3/4 release. You see tons of rotation on them, but you saw how tight the rotation was on that last one. And as a hitter, those are the ones that you scuffle with that look like a fastball. Hard to pick up that dot and the seams.
1-1 to Tillman. Outfield around to the right. Bryce Harper shallow in right. So Tillman gets a piece of it.
So the Pope's in town, and I witnessed my first miracle today. There was no traffic in D.C. So he's here, and he already performed one miracle.
They said it could never be done.
It was a ghost town today. There was no traffic, no cars anywhere. So way to go, Pope.
Good luck tomorrow, everybody.
I can say, see the miracle.
And coming from across the river, I will back you up on that.
There's nobody. It's a ghost town.
It was unbelievable.
A holy ghost town, if you will.
Scherzer just powers the fastball in there. 3 strikeouts in that inning and in the game. 2-1 Orioles very early. World today mourns the loss of Yogi Berra at the age of 90, one of the great Yankees ever. 18 of his 19 seasons in pinstripes, into the Hall of Fame in 1972. Three-time MVP, 14 World Series appearances. They won 10 of those. 18-time All-Star. And it was interesting. Casey Stengel never called Yogi his catcher. He always called him his assistant because Yogi ran the game on the field for Casey Stengel and all those great Yankee teams.
Yeah, 358 homers, 1,430 RBI, 10 World Series rings, and don't forget a war hero to boot.
Yeah.
45 World Series games where he hit 335. And more important than that, Carb, he treated everybody the same. It didn't matter who you were. In my experiences with Yogi in Yankees camp, I mean, he would hold court after the games. You come out of the game in the 5th inning, and we'd all sit around and listen to his knowledge of the game, his stories, and his humor, and he would just captivate the whole clubhouse. So you come out in spring training like the 5th inning, and we would all sit back there and listen to Yogi, and he would just hold court.
High fly ball, Ian Desmond. First pitch, bottom of the 2nd. Ryan Flaherty there.
And a lot of Hall of Famers, when they come into a clubhouse, they beeline straight for the Bryce Harper of the team or the superstar of the ball club, and they just walk by everybody else. And I've seen it happen a number of times. They want to find the star in the clubhouse. Yogi Berra wasn't like that. If you were the 25th guy, you were the clubhouse guy, or you were Derek Jeter, he treated everybody the same.
Yep.
And that's the biggest compliment that anybody can get. He treated everybody as an equal, and he was one of the nicest gentlemen you could ever possibly be around.
We were in St. Louis recently. My sisters and I went out to lunch. Dave Jagler came with us, and we were over on the hill in Yogi's neighborhood, Elizabeth Avenue, where he and Joe Garagiola grew up on the same street, has now been renamed Hall of Fame Way. And it was very cool just to take a drive by there and check out the little Italian restaurants on every other street corner, about 8 blocks from where I grew up in a row house there. And we are all proud that we were close by where Joe and Yogi grew up. 1 ball, 2 strikes outside to Michael A. Taylor. 1 for 2 career with an RBI against Tillman. By the way, Yogi had one season where he had 28 home runs and he struck out 12 times.
Yeah, I saw something today where Bryce Harper has 1 more strikeout in his career than Yogi Berra had 19 seasons. So yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, and he was a bad ball hitter. He was Vlad before there was Vlad, swinging at everything and getting his hits. Yogi Berra, wow.
Favorite Yogi quote? It's not one that you'd think of. He said, "I'm not going to buy my kids an encyclopedia. Let them walk to school like I did."
We may be dueling Yogis all night here.
No, I mean, you can't
That's
top
great.
that one. Don't
That's
even
beautiful.
try. It's the best.
My favorite is when he came to camp one year. No, just one.
Okay.
Came to camp one year, and the clubhouse guy said, "Yogi, what size ball cap do you need?" He said, "I don't know. I'm not in shape yet." All right, but we could go all night, right?
Yeah, we could. But all that said, he's one of the smartest baseball minds I've ever been around, and nobody, and I mean nobody, loved the game more than Yogi Berra.
And people. I know Joe Garagiola has to be hurting today. Best friends all through life. One a Hall of Fame player, the other a Hall of Fame broadcaster. And Joe, really not a bad catcher. Made a lot of fun of his career, but I've talked to a lot of people who saw Joe play. He was pretty good. Only one Yogi, though. Flaherty against our catcher, Wilson Ramos, takes that fly ball. 1-2-3 go the Nats in the bottom of the 2nd. Baltimore 2-1. September 23rd was a Sunday back in 07. The Nats were saying goodbye to RFK Stadium after 3 years there. Chad Cordero, and look at who that is. Jason Worth struck him out to end the game. The Nats beat the Phillies 5-3. 1,047 baseball games played at RFK, counting the Senators and the Nats. Redskins there, long time. World Cup soccer, you name it. RFK played host to it.
Wait, we got to show that again one more time.
Jason Worth.
Yeah, we got to show him one more time if we get a chance.
A well-groomed young Jason.
Well, I mean, that was the beard starter kit. Did you see? It was just a strip.
Who, by the way, was hitting .310 coming into that game.
Look at, that's how the beard started. Can't really see it right there, but a long time ago and a land far, far away.
Max Scherzer with a breaking ball. The last Nats hit was Willie Mopena with a bloop single in the 8th. Ryan Zimmerman had a hit in that 8th inning. Last time the Nats would bat at RFK, but they sent out the old ballpark with a 5-3 win. Gerardo Parra, I mean, he scorched one out to right center first time, and Bryce Harper ran it down. No balls, 2 strikes here in the 3rd. That's nasty, down and in. Last 4 outs, strikeouts now for Max Scherzer. Getting closer and closer to Steven Strasburg's strikeout mark.
Yoga in the outfield returns to Nats Park on Sunday, September 27th. Nats take on the Phillies at 1:35. Special ticket purchase fans receive limited edition Nats yoga mat. This is a big hit first time around, folks. So visit nationals.com/yoga to purchase your tickets today.
Manny Machado robbed of a hit by Escobar first time.
You going?
Are we here?
Yeah. It's after the Phillies game on Sunday. The makeup game on Monday.
That's right. We're not leaving town until Monday.
You should get out there with the people and show them how flexible you are.
I'm trying to think of some of my favorite moves. I like what they call the dead body pose a lot. That's when
you just lay there.
That's when you'll just lay there
do that.
after sweating for about 40 minutes. Really good at that one.
Yeah, but did you ever see a cheetah stretch before it kills something? No. So why? I don't get it.
1-2 to Machado. Max jammed him. Just looking up that one final thing on Yogi, that stat. 1950, 28 homers, 124 RBIs, and he struck out 12 times.
It's crazy.
Are you kidding me?
Wait, we hacked. He's a bad ball hitter. He never saw a 2-strike count. He's putting the ball in play early. People used to say that about Vladimir Guerrero all the time. He never strikes out. Well, he swung the first pitch every time and put it in play. Never fouled off a 2-strike pitch to battle because he never got there.
I got the most strikeouts ever for Yogi was 38 in a season, playing every day. I tell you, Max Scherzer striking out everybody in sight. That's number 5. 5 outs in a row. Strikeouts, and Chris Davis next.
Well, it just tied Steven Strasburg with number 242 on a single season Nats strikeout list. I think Pedro Martinez in 1997 had 700.
Here's Davis, who walked, and that was costly. Ball 4 hit home plate umpire Mark Ripperger in the hand, and then Steve Pearce came up and lost one into the seats and left to put the O's up 2-0. Mark did get some in between innings treatment from Lee Kuntz. Swinging a foul tip, 0-2.
In 1997, Pedro Martinez had 305 strikeouts, and that was the first time he won the Cy Young. And if his offense would have gotten him any kind of run support, he would have won 20 games in his sleep. But they had a really lame leadoff hitter that year. They just couldn't get the job done.
A ball hooked, and he beats the shift. Hooked it around Robinson to the left of Rendon and into the corner as Chris Davis has his second double of this series. That ball was smoked.
Smoked and perfectly placed. Talk about beating the shift.
Steve Pearce now.
Yeah, bodies diving everywhere for this one. Chris Davis stays on that slider. Nice. Watch his head go to the baseball. His hands right to the ball. Great swing by Chris Davis. Barrels it up and just gets it by a diving Clint Robinson. Anthony Rendon can't get to it because it was hit so hard. And a 2-out double for Davis. Nice swing. Sometimes good hitters beat good pitches.
Here's Pearce, 14th homer. He had an RBI double last night. And Max Scherzer gets a strike on the inside half at 87.
Now, based on a small sample size of seeing Steve Pearce play, and I could be totally wrong with this, but he seems like a turn and burn guy, a guy that's going to pull the baseball every single time up or want to pull.
He's up on the plate.
And the slider away or the fastball away seems like it would work against him. Could be wrong, though.
Scherzer comes in the front door, and Pearce doesn't like it. Similar to strike one, and now it's 1-2.
Well, these are both sliders that back up on Max. He wants that to go down and away, and just kind of an overthrow, fingers on the side of the baseball, scored it out and didn't really break.
Well, Pearce had a beef on that one, according to Pitch Track.
I mean, I didn't think that was a strike. I did that whole replay right there on the pitch, and I thought it was a ball. So, yeah. Max Scherzer will take it.
Pearce now a 5-game hitting streak, 6 for his last 14. That homer was the Orioles' 201st of the year. Toronto's hit 213. The Astros 209 and the Yankees 205. Those numbers coming into this day. Breaks his bat, and Escobar has a belt-high hop over at third, and that's it for the O's in the top of the third. Nats will have Scherzer leading off, then the top of their order, 2-1 Baltimore.
To tweet your strongest fan photo using hashtag NatsCouchCam. You only got 12 more times to do this. You might see yourself on TV. That's brought to you by T-Mobile. Let's make them crazy here the last 12 games. What do you say?
1-1 to Max Scherzer. 11 hits on the year. 171 career hitter. Pretty good hack. Hard hit ball, Jonathan Scope. Steven Strasburg and his friends from Toyota celebrating Keys for Kids at the ballpark today. Steven getting together for pictures and autographs well before the game. You know that number 37 we give the children's in at NIH, $37 for every strikeout. So Raymond Page from the Washington area Toyota dealers, Jenny Luca, Molly Matthews, and Ryan Reel from NIH on the field with number 37 today. It's been a great promotion for years.
Well, anytime you get a Happy Gilmore check, it's a good deal. Throw that thing right in your trunk.
Anthony Rendon doubled off the Geico sign way out in right center beyond the scoreboard first time. Yadiel Escobar wasted no time in bringing him home. Then the Nats were building an inning until an unlucky Jason Worth lasered one into a 6-4 double play. And Rendon is down on strikes. Third K of the game for Chris Tillman. So inside the numbers with STG and third baseman Larry Parrish was a slugger. We know all about Ryan. Tim Wallach, one of the best low ball right-handed hitters ever. And look what Escobar is doing with the batting average, obliterating what some of the other guys have done. 323, including his hit tonight. That's a fair ball. Escobar just got tagged and he's arguing. He is really mad at the call of Mark Ripperger. Ball to the feet of the hitter, and the umpire said it was fair. 2 unassisted with a tag, and Matt Williams will talk it over with the home plate umpire as the grounds crew comes out and starts dragging the infield.
Man, it looked like the ball was foul. In foul territory. Not hard to tell right there.
Innings now. Baltimore 2-1. Matt Wieters will lead off, fourth inning. 2-3-0 O's, 1-2-0 Nats. And Max Scherzer drills the 93 in there. Wieters out down the left field line on that Jason Worth would-be catch, with a young fan interfering. First time up, ended the first inning. And Wieters gets around late. Wieters turned 29 years of age late May. Tommy John surgery June of last year. After he strained that right elbow in May. Been a long road back for him. Don't usually hear about that surgery for catchers, and has to be a difficult thing.
So home plate's in fair territory. The ball hit off home plate. And if Mark Ripperger judged that ball was inside the foul line going down the first baseline, it was a fair ball. And that's where it gets tricky, because in the batter's box you have to have an imaginary line right there, right? Because the first baseline doesn't come right to home plate. It comes right to the front of the batter's box. And Yunel Escobar's still shaking his head at third base.
Just a little bit inside. Yeah, if they chalked that line when they do the batter's box before the game, it would be obliterated anyway after a couple of guys bat and move around in there. But you can see, as FP says, most of the batter's box in foul territory, but part of it is fair. And that's what the umpire ruled on that little dead bouncer by Escobar. Now Matt Wieters breaks up an 0 for 17 with that base hit.
Have you ever wanted to experience the thrill of hitting a home run in a major league ballpark? Of course you have. Have you ever wanted free season tickets? Duh. Well, now's your chance. Purchase or renew your 2016 Nats Plus membership by October 5th for your chance to win free season tickets in Swing for your seats. Some rules and restrictions apply, like you'll have to face Max Scherzer. Visit nationals.com/swing for more information. And if that goes out, it's not my fault. They told me to read it. All right, we'll get it.
Foul ball. You're all right.
I want to look at the rules. I want to know who's pitching. But good luck. You never know. I've actually had people come up to me and ask when the Nats had tryouts if they were pretty good in high school. So, hey, here's your chance. Tried not to laugh. I straight faced them and then finished my beer. That's the true story.
I totally believe.
I was at a gathering.
I hit 3 home runs my
3 years ago, and this guy's wife comes up to me and says, "Hey, my husband was pretty good in high school, and did the Nats have tryouts?" I said, I don't know, but how old is he? He's 36, but he still thinks he can play. And I said, well, I was trying to keep a straight face. Tell him that, no, it's not that easy, and your husband has no chance, but I was nice about it.
Well, if he was batting, that guy, he just would have struck out like Jonathan Schoop did, and that's a new Nationals record for Max Scherzer with 243 strikeouts. They throw out the baseball, and Bob, the baseball authenticator, will take care of that down in the dugout. Now that's a Toyota strikeout.
243, number one. Congratulations, Max Scherzer, and counting. There it is.
Strike to Ryan Flaherty, who got the sharply hit ball into the glove of Ian Desmond first time up. So the Orioles have 1 hit in each inning. The Nats 2 in the first and nothing since. And this one out to center for Michael A. Taylor. 2 outs. Next 5 ball games for the Nats. It gets underway tomorrow night when Tyler Wilson, a rookie, 25 years of age, pitches for the Orioles, and Tanner Roark goes for the Nats. Phillies will be in for 3. Make a note of the special game time, 4 o'clock on Saturday. And then the Reds in that 3 o'clock makeup game on Monday will be here. A game rained out a couple of months ago, and Cincinnati will make a little whistle stop here in D.C. Way outside to J.J. Hardy. Hardy struck out swinging first time up. And Scherzer with 95. Well, here in the National League, this is where you want to go after the number 8 man, have the pitcher lead off next inning. .96.
Yeah, perfect pitch, down and away.
And Scherzer, 5 strikeouts in the last 2 innings, and just striking out everybody in sight right now. That's number 7 on the night, and it remains 2-1.
Who's hot, who's not? We got a couple of guys that are slugging big time in the month of September. Check out Chris Davis, .831 slugging percentage. That's second of all of baseball. And who's first? Oh, the guy right next to him, .984. Bryce Harper leads the majors in slugging percentage in the month of September.
Celebrate the season with the American Standard All-Star Sales Event. Visit MidAtlanticComfort.com for amazing rebate and financing opportunities. Bryce Harper goes up hacking, bottom of the 4th. Yeah, you guessed it. The Orioles walked him first time up. 4 times in the series. And in 2 games, Bryce 0 for 1. So on the year, 121 Ks and now 119 walks. Tying run in scoring position here as Bryce leads off the 4th. Talked earlier that the Orioles are 10-8 in interleague play. You might be surprised to know that their staff ERA in those 18 games is 2.75. So Buck Showalter's team has won a bunch of interleague games by pitching better, not just slugging. Last night was only the 10th game all year that they won without hitting a home run. Harper, and that's right where Manny Machado is, out there at a shortstop position. With more on Bryce Harper, here's Dan.
Bob, Bryce was asked after last night's game if he gets frustrated in games where he might walk 3-4 times and the Nationals don't pick up a win, and he said, no, because I missed my pitch tonight. He said, I went 0 for 1, but I got a pitch I could handle. It should have been a 1 for 1 with 3 walks. Instead, it was an 0 for 1 with 3 walks. If I want to complain about it, I need to deliver on the pitch that I do get to hit. He said, I didn't do that last night, so he could only be mad at himself.
Well, he really needs to work on that in the offseason. You know, in Hockey Carp, they have exit meetings with the players, and they tell them what they need to work on in the offseason. What are you going to tell Bryce Harper he needs to work on in the offseason? I mean, he's had an historic season, and he always wants to get better, but there's really no aspect of his game that was weak this year. He played a Gold Glove quality right field. He's got a few errors that he doesn't deserve on some really good throws. He's been taking great routes and ready for the baseball all year in right field. I mean, the offensive numbers speak for themselves. The way he's run the bases and how under control his game is, his throwing's been fantastic. I mean, what aspect does he need to work on for next year? I mean, there's really no holes in his game. So if you had a meeting with Bryce Harper after the season, you would just say thanks.
Keep doing what you're doing and have a nice off season.
Don't change a thing.
Relax for a while, do your work, stay healthy, and we'll see you in Vieira. Now it's 3-1 to Jason Worth, who hit the daylights out of the ball. First time up, lined out hard to J.J. Hardy. Escobar tried to get back to second. 6-4 double play was a rally killer in that 1-run first inning. They give Jason right center.
And that was the one thing that always left me in awe of Barry Bonds, that it would see 20 balls in a row and then somebody would finally make a mistake out over the plate and it would be whack. It was gone. And I think that's what Bryce Harper was talking about when he was talking to Dan. He felt like he should have gotten a hit on the one good pitch he saw last night.
Worth, one hopper, back to the pitcher. Well, Chris Tillman, really bad numbers coming into this one lately, but pretty solid tonight. The Geico President's Race, and you know, Jason Worth is from Springfield, Illinois, the land of Lincoln. Abe from nearby Salem at times, and he's just going to take out the whole field right here. A bowling pin group of presidents, and then he comes home all alone.
And Santa's GPS still all messed up. He's in D.C.
Clint Robinson now, bases empty, 2 outs. They're in the 5th inning in New York, going to the bottom of the inning shortly. Mets 2, Braves nothing. Mets magic number is 6. Robinson hacks one off to the left side, 1-1.
Keep fighting until they put an X by your name.
Yogi would tell us it's not over till it's over.
Right.
Even though we're chasing one of his former teams. And Clint Robinson fooled on that changeup. This does not look like a guy with a 9-something ERA in recent starts. Then he's going to paint the outside edge with a fastball. Strikes out Clint Robinson, looking for the second time. 4 Ks in the game. Back to work, Max Scherzer. Pitch number 75 coming. A little late for it there. Chris Tillman, who struck out looking first time. So Max 2 Ks last inning, 2 the inning before, 3 in the second. Then he bolts a 94 heater to the inside edge. No balls, 2 strikes. That's right there. Strikeout number 8.
Well, you want to see some Ks. Max Scherzer came in 5 strikeouts shy of the Nats' single-season strikeout record. He struck out 5 for the tie, 6 for the win. Now he's got 8, so 245 strikeouts by my math. Mike Wallace, clubhouse guru for the Nats, going to you, Major League Baseball authenticator guy. Now, my question is, Carp, as you look at the graphic going deep inside the numbers, do they have to save every strikeout now? How do you do that?
Each one's a new record?
Yeah.
I think they will save that one and then his final one of the year.
One of my friends on
Twitter
guessing just asked me that, and that's a good question. Do you save them all now?
It's a lot of holograms.
Maybe his last start you save everyone?
Yeah, possibly. It's certainly the last strikeout, but
how do you know that one right there wasn't the last one?
Well, you get him. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean,
I think they're feeling pretty good. He'll strike out a few more. Right up the middle, Gerardo Parra. First base hit of the night. And the hitter with 1 out, 1 on will be Manny Machado, who has hit a sharp ground ball to third, robbed of a hit by Escobar, and then a swinging strikeout in the 3rd inning.
Shoulder?
Yeah, looks like he's trying to stretch his shoulder capsule out or something there. And Scherzer gets one up in the zone to get ahead.
I'll put you on the spot right now. Who would you take, Nolan Arenado or Manny Machado at third? Such a tough question to put you on the spot on live TV. But what do you think?
Well, Nolan Arenado has been healthier than Manny Machado, but it'd be hard for me not to take the guy who just turned 23 years old.
See, that's where it gets tricky, right?
Yeah.
Arenado in his late 20s, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm punching up my Rockies notes as you speak.
And he's having an MVP-type season for the Rockies. Gold Glove third baseman. But the guy you're looking at right now, in my opinion, defensively, every bit as good as Arenado. And that's saying a lot, because I think Arenado is one of the best I've ever seen. But I also think he's going to be a Gold Glove shortstop, Manny Machado, someday soon.
Yeah, and this may surprise you, as it just did me, because we hadn't played these guys much this year. Nolan Arenado is 24. Snap throw. Wow. Manny Machado really getting after Mark Ripperger for that strike call. Buck Showalter out immediately to get in between. And Manny Machado had a pretty good snap right there. 2 outs for Scherzer, strikeout number 9.
Well, I think you heard what Manny Machado thought about the call. And Buck Showalter doing an excellent job of keeping his third baseman in this ball game. He was from 0 to 60 as quick as I've seen a manager getting out to home plate to get in the way of his third baseman being ejected. That's good managing. I mean, whether he thinks Machado's right or wrong, he kept him in the game. So we'll take a look at the pitch again together.
Oh, he was trying to get time.
And I thought he was trying to call timeout. He didn't get granted timeout. And then you heard the reaction. You saw him step out and you said, something's weird here. He didn't get timeout. Fastball down the middle, didn't like it.
Yeah, better stay in there until the umpire yells time. And he bailed. Here's Chris Davis, who's had a perfect night with a walk, a run, and a double. He'll pop this one on a play off to the left side. Scherzer goes off speed, misses in the dirt. Max is poised at some point for his 9th double-digit strikeout game of the year. Ramos sets a target right on the edge, and Max misses outside.
Yeah, that's one of those Max Scherzer pause deals kind of work in his favor. Usually it's to disrupt a base runner, but see the long pause? And Manny Machado didn't verbalize timeout. It's all he did was hold his hand in the air. And as a hitter, you ask for timeout. You don't tell the umpire. You're asking for permission, and they have to grant you timeout. So if you want it, for all you younger players, be emphatic about it. Scream time, 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 time if you're going to hold your hand in the air. And I think Manny may have learned a lesson right there that if he's going to call timeout with 2 strikes late, scream it. Be real loud about it. He was more loud after the call than he was before.
3-1 to Davis here. And Chris will foul it off to the left side.
If he would have called timeout as loud as he yelled at Ripperger, he would have gotten timeout.
Manny Machado is now 0 for 14 career against Max Scherzer. Head start at first base on this pitch for Gerardo Parra. Home run guy Steve Pearce waiting. And Scherzer goes off speed and walks Chris Davis for the 2nd time tonight. That's the only Baltimore hitter he has walked. Now the matchup with Pearce again. Pitch count getting up there. Max had 74 pitches through 4, getting close to 90 here in the 5th inning. Remember, Max got a couple of strikes off the plate inside under his hands last time up. Goes up and in to jam him for that foul ball.
Oh, good pitch right there, 0-2, to set up that slider down the way if he wants to try.
Two on Orioles, top of the 5th inning. And he bounces one. Wilson Ramos, good job to keep it close. Parra had a pretty good secondary lead at second.
The slider was there, just kind of held on to it a hair too long and bounced it. Nice block by Wilson Ramos, keeping everybody where they started.
Now a 1-2 pitch. Scherzer a long hold and time granted.
See, Parra is kind of creeping off. But with 2 strikes and 2 outs, if you want to steal third, go ahead. I'm going to make a pitch right here and take care of the hitter. That's got to be your focus.
Then well inside. 2-2. Max Scherzer has not had a 1-2-3 inning tonight. And Steve McCaddy knows he's going to be talking bullpen here in the next couple of innings. 2-2. Way outside.
Max Scherzer wants to talk to Wilson Ramos and make sure in a big situation they're on the same page of what pitch to throw, and maybe they won't even use a sign. They'll just talk to each other right now, and then there's no worry in your head as a pitcher that somebody might be relaying information from second base. Whether they are or not, it just clears your mind when you have to make a big pitch to either use a different sign or go no sign at all.
Parra at second, Davis at first on the move here.
No sign.
And down to Escobar again. Couldn't go the short way. Goes across the diamond, and Max Scherzer working long and hard, keeping zeros on the board. Desmond, Taylor, and Ramos coming up.
So the last game against the Phillies, Sunday, September 27th. You know the drill, 135. You get those gloves right there. First 25,000 fans will get 50,000 gloves, right? Visit Nationals.com to purchase your tickets today. That's presented by Coca-Cola. 50,000 gloves.
You don't have to specify left or right-handed. You get both.
Get them both.
Here's Ian Desmond, bottom of the 5th. Nats offense quiet. Not a hit since the Escobar base it up the middle, second batter of the game. Since then, 1 base on balls. So that's 11 straight for Chris Tillman.
Well, everybody at home needs to change seats. That's all there is to this. Wherever you've been watching the game since the first inning, switch it up.
2-1 to Desmond.
Fair ball.
Fouls it straight down. Fastball command has been pretty sharp tonight by Chris Tillman. The big problem he's had lately. Got through the first 4 innings on 54 pitches, 20 fewer than Max Scherzer. Max with all those strikeouts. And now 5 of his own by Tillman. He gets Desmond, who's 0 for 2.
All right, here's your T-Mobile fan photo. They are on the couch, I believe. It's Aaron Mursky, of course. You might see yourself on TV in an upcoming broadcast. That's brought to you by T-Mobile. All right, guys, thank you very much. Aaron Mursky at ER Mursky on Twitter. Give her a follow. She's hilarious.
75 upstairs. Taylor 0 for 1, called out on strikes in the second. Orioles came into this series with a 4.09 staff ERA. The Nats have 1 earned run in a game and a half.
Good take. Saw the slider early. Big pitch right there. That 1-1 counts everything to a hitter. You get it to 2-1 versus 1-2. All the difference in the world. It's a 3-something average versus a 1-something average.
And now a good take gets it to 3-1. Tillman career 54 and 42. It's his 147th start. He's never had a decision in 4 starts against the Nats. High ERA 4.37. But the Orioles got him off the hook every time. It's a base runner for the first time since Bryce Harper in the first inning, breaking up a streak of 12 consecutive batters.
Mercedes-Benz going to show you ball 4 up and in, and now you're wondering if Michael Taylor's thinking about stealing second base in a 1-run ball game. He likes to go early in the count. See if he has the green light right here.
One way to jump start an offense. Tillman got Ramos in a fly ball to right field first time.
Don't think Wilson loved that call. Tillman's super quick to the plate. He's not giving Taylor a chance.
Chris Tillman this year 2-0, coming in with a 2.18 ERA against teams from the National League East. The American League East over the National League East this year, 57-38 in interleague play.
It's a better division.
The Toronto Ball Club with its amazing offense and solid pitching. Yankees in the thick of things for the wild card if they don't catch Toronto 2.5 back.
Orioles were in it for a long time. They were the wild card leader for the longest time.
Ramos pulls it, and that's into the left field corner. Taylor screaming for third. Bob Henley's going to send him. That ball slowed down on the track out there, and it gets Taylor home to tie the game. Wilson Ramos with his 65th run batted in. And a big-time RBI from the number 8 spot in the lineup.
Well, give Bob Henley a lot of credit right here for being Bob Senley. You're wondering if he was going to wave Michael Taylor. A nice swing by Wilson Ramos, two-seam fastball chasing the inside half of the plate. He gets the barrel through there and gets it past Manny Machado, which isn't easy. And then look at Henley running up the baseline. It looks like J.J. Hardy has a chance. And it was a little bit closer than you had anticipated, because watch Michael Taylor go with his right hand to touch home plate.
Ooh.
Instead of his left hand, he's got that brace on his left wrist, so you figure something's going on with that. So he had to use his right hand. And that made it a little bit closer than you thought it was going to be.
Nats finally able to get a base hit, a big one, to tie the game. Max Scherzer can swing away here with one out and try to get himself and his ball club on top. Well, sometimes the hitter is just able to put the ball where you're not playing them. Just like Chris Davis, that ground ball down the third base line last night. That's a strike, and it's 0-2.
I feel like everybody at home changed seats. They listened. Way to go. That's your run, folks.
Max took a good look at it.
Now don't move. Stay right where you are. Goes for you too, Carp. Don't move a muscle.
Can I talk?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess that is a muscle, but just stay right where you're at.
Off speed. And Tillman just missed up and in. Sometimes with 2 strikes, you throw an opposing pitcher an off-speed pitch, you're doing him a big favor.
I think Matt Williams letting Max Scherzer hit because he wants him to get the win. So many times this year, he hasn't qualified for the win. He's left in a tie game or down by 1. And if you're wondering why he's not pinch hitting, he wants him to get the W here tonight. So even if he doesn't drive in Wilson Ramos, it's only 2 outs, and Anthony Rendon has a chance. But if you pinch hit for him right here, he's going to get the no decision. Matt Williams leaving him in to get a win. A lot of people think just because you put a pinch hitter in there, it's an automatic hit. And everybody in baseball knows how hard it is to pinch hit. It's not a guaranteed thing.
Scherzer fighting a good fight here.
Pretty good act, too.
I was just thinking about that changeup up and in. It might be a good thing Tillman missed up there with it. He's thrown a couple of fastballs since then. It's become a really good at bat by the Nats pitcher. 3-2 with Anthony Rendon on deck here. Bottom of the 5th inning.
He's grinding.
And Scherzer up the middle with a base hit. Ramos will be held at third. And Scherzer back into the bag with his 12th base hit of the year. It's now 1st and 3rd, 1 out.
What an at-bat by Max Scherzer. Gets to a 3-2 count. And gets himself a base hit. He was looking hitterish this whole AB. Finally fights one off up the middle. And a good hole by Bob Senley right there. Manny Parra or Gerardo Parra can throw. And Wilson Ramos below average runner. And Max Scherzer scrambling back to the bag. He just gets there, so the line is moving. Dugout clapping. Great at-bat. Maybe his best at-bat of the year. Max Scherzer. Nicely done.
Almost got his first RBI, but no way Bob Henley could send Wilson Ramos So here's Rendon as the Nats now try to build an inning. They have 4 hits tonight, and they both come in pairs consecutive. First inning, Rendon and Escobar. And in this inning, Ramos and Scherzer.
Hey, Manny Parra has a good arm too, though.
Yeah, from 60 feet.
Yeah.
Rendon saw a pitch up, and he was pumping. Now it's 0-2.
Pretty good numbers with runners in scoring position. Looking for a fly ball here. Thinking right field all the way.
Fly ball could give the Nats a lead, but it'll have to be far enough. With Wilson Ramos at third, 1 out.
Where all those guys are standing is far enough. If they come in, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Close and a good take. Between Scherzer and Rendon, we've seen some plate discipline in the 5th inning.
That was really close.
And a 2-2 just outside. Tillman, some body English going on those last 2 pitches. Nissan will track it.
Last 2 very close. Pitch number 4, pitch number 5, right on the edge. Tillman wanted them both.
And Rendon pulls it way foul. Big hat. No baseball.
All right.
I'm glad he's in a row all by himself. That's the guy who would have the seat in front of me. (3-2) again. Ramos took a couple of steps down the line, and then Tillman saw him and stepped off.
I don't think Wilson's going to steal home.
(3-2) and Rendon late hack to stay alive. That ball really got deep on him.
It's so quick. I mean, he took that ball to Matt Wieder's glove. I mean, almost literally. I'm thinking, okay, he took that pitch, and all of a sudden his bat came out of nowhere to foul it off.
Guy with an RBI tonight waiting. Probably eager to do some damage after that crazy at bat he had last time. 3-2 Rendon. High in the air, right center. Looks like it's far enough. The catch by Flaherty. Here comes Ramos. And run number 3 comes rumbling home. Anthony Rendon, 24th RBI. And the Nats have the lead for the first time.
That's some good at-bats in this inning. Michael Taylor single. Wilson Ramos with a double. Max Scherzer sticking his nose in there for an 8-pitch knock, and then Anthony Rendon doing the same 3-2 sac fly to give his ball club a 3-2 lead. Same seats, everybody.
Yeah, piecing things together really well here. Walk, double, single, sac fly. Escobar the hitter. Pitch number 31 of this inning coming from Tillman, and it's a perfect strike on the edge. 54 pitches in 4 innings and 31 here in the 5th.
If I know Max, he wants to steal second base so bad right now, not being held on at first.
Stay there, buddy. Now you can go to second base all you want. Escobar with a rocket. And for Yunel Escobar, his 48th multi-hit game of the year. That gets it to you-know-who. Dave Wallace, the Orioles pitching coach, out.
That's why Yunel was so frustrated his last at-bat. And we looked at the replay a couple of times, and you could have made the argument that it was fair. I think that Mark Ripperger got it right. But he expects to get a base hit every single time up all year, no matter what the count, no matter what the situation. And you can see why with the swing like that. Beautiful swing by Yunel Escobar. Line moving here in the bottom of the fifth for the Nats.
Huge spot for Bryce Harper to bust this thing open, fifth inning. Walk in the first, ground ball in the fourth. Chaz Rowe now in a hurry for the Orioles in that left field bullpen. Harper against Tillman career 1 for 7. Way outside. There's a base open. It's third. Tillman might treat this at bat like it's first base open. We'll see if he is serious about Harper or Worth. Ball 2. The one thing Bryce has refused to do this year is to get himself out when guys are nibbling. Scherzer at second. Escobar behind him. Three 3-0.
Yes.
Top of the zone, outer half.
3-0 automatic strike, or was it in there? Close.
.95 RBIs for Harper. 3-1 pitch coming. Takes it in there. And the count's full.
So we got to turn the page and say, now I get a hit. Even though you thought it was a ball, even though you thought 3-0 was a ball.
Yeah, the high strike and the low strike in the same AB here. Most umpires don't give both.
Turn the page, big pitch coming.
On the corner. No swing, and Bryce Harper walks again. The bases are loaded. So he now has 120 walks to go with 121 strikeouts. Kind of interesting. Both ball clubs pitching around the power guys. Davis has been walked twice, Harper twice tonight. And nobody else, actually Michael A. Taylor, the only other batter to walk. Big spot, obviously, for Jason Worth now. Scherzer, base hit. Escobar, base hit. Harper the walk. Worth got a hanger, and he hit it hard. Machado goes the short way. The Nats will get a couple on 3 hits, 2 walks, and they lead for the first time tonight. Max Scherzer now has a lead. He's gone 0-2 on 8 of the last 15 batters he has faced. This one goes to the top of the 6th inning. And for the Achiever in you, PNC Bank, with our minor league report, have we had a teenager this year? 19-year-old catcher Jackson Reitz out of Norris, Nebraska High School. He hit .274 in the Gulf Coast League last year after being signed 43 ball games, and he's done some good things at the short league Auburn Double Days stop in upstate New York. 3rd rounder last year, 8th ranked prospect in the entire organization. Jackson Reitz. Max Scherzer stomping his way up to the top of the hill. Wieters, Scope, Flaherty, top of the 6th inning. 3-5-0 Nats, 2-5-0 Orioles. Max had 94 pitches, and now so is Tillman after a 40-pitch bottom of the 5th.
Braves got the bases loaded, 1 out in the 7th. It's a 2-1 ball game.
Yeah, a run in, huh? Things can change quickly in 2 different cities. Ball 2. Max on his feet a long time with that chip around the bases just now. Braves now ahead 3-2, we're told. So a touch 85 to get a strike. And they just posted that score. Fans applaud. Ball 3. How to play left side.
Long way to go in this one, long way to go in that one.
Yep. A long way to go before the last game of the season's over, too. Box, bunch of guys with a hit. But the big one, Steve Pearce, the 2-run homer after the Chris Davis walk, 1st inning. Max has given up 1 hit, 5 innings tonight. Swing and a miss, and very late was Wieters. And so there is the 9th time this year that Max Scherzer goes double-digit Ks.
Well, he's looking for the shutdown inning. And when you look at his pitch count right now, right at 100, he's going closer mode, emptying the tank here in the 6th.
He has struck out. Jonathan Schoop swinging twice.
I think that at-bat has to fire him up a little bit, doesn't it? I mean, besides having the lead 3-2,
yeah.
I mean, that at-bat, you talk to pitchers, when they have good ABs, it gives them some energy.
This ball will be out of play. So Max goes double digits for the first time since his September 2nd start at St. Louis when he struck out 10. That was in 6 innings. Oh-2 to another hitter, and that's strikeout number 11.
He's got Schoop all 3 times. Little cut to this 96. Watch the action at the end. A 3-pitch see ya, and it just kind of runs away from Schoop at the very end. An elevated. Oh, it looked like a 2-seamer, but had some rise to it. Nonetheless, got the job done. Closer mode.
Yeah, first look there on the Mercedes-Benz pitch track. Here's Ryan Flaherty. First pitch swinging, and that can be a gift at this stage of a ball game. Ian Desmond and Max Scherzer, after running the bases, getting that hit, finally gets a 1-2-3 inning. This is kind of like an old-fashioned pitchers duel that hasn't been 1-0 or nothing, but you got a couple of horses still sticking around. Clint Robinson gets that one to the wall, and it's caught right at the top of the padding by Ryan Flaherty, who, as FP mentioned earlier tonight, has played very little right field in his career.
None this year. No games this year in right field for Ryan Flaherty. And since 2012, he's only played an inning and 2/3 out there, and he acts like a Gold Glover on this. What a play going up against the wall. Timed his lead perfectly. And I don't know if they would have been out of here, but it was sure close. What a play by the Orioles right fielder.
Yeah, so each pitcher has taken some lumps, but still around to pitch at least 6 innings. And Nobody's throwing in the Nats bullpen. Max Scherzer just had a 10-pitch sixth. Desmond fly ball to right, swinging strikeout. And Clint Robinson may be a foot away from adding to the Nats lead. Desmond couldn't stop. 1-2. So the Braves got 3 in the 7th and lead 3-2. Mets now hitting.
Bases loaded. Double by Freddie Freeman on an 0-2 pitch.
He can hit.
Can hit.
Tillman over 100 now. Boy, 40 pitches in that 5th inning against 8 batters. And now Desmond making it tough for him to make his way through the 6th. So the Nats box, a run on 2 hits in the 1st, Rendon double, Escobar single, 2 runs on 3 hits in the 5th. Taylor walked, Ramos doubled him home, Scherzer hit, Rendon sac fly, Escobar hit. And now Ian Desmond rockets one up the middle. So the Nats have had 2 great hacks here in the 6th. Ian Desmond's 2nd hit of the series, on base for the 3rd time in 2 games. That'll get the Baltimore bullpen working.
That was a bullet up the middle by Ian Desmond. Great swing. Watch him square this fastball up. Just runs back just enough. Belt high. Look out, Chris Tillman coming right back at you. Hits the mound, bounces into center. Good at bat.
Taylor walked with 1 out last inning, came around to score.
So we got to find a way to get the Pope to the ballpark tomorrow, because if he can make there be no traffic in D.C., he can help the Nats get into the playoffs. Right? Is 2 miracles asking for too much?
Gotta believe.
Gotta believe.
The only thing is he can't go to New York after this.
No, he's just going to Philly and shuttered.
Okay.
If he gets
I don't think he can help the Phils.
If he gets the Phillies in the playoffs.
1-1. Taylor pulls it to short. Hardy, almost a disaster. He almost pulled Scope off the bag, rushing after the drop. He got Desmond on a 6-4, 2 outs. That's a guy who's only made 3 errors all year.
Might be worth a sneak peek by Matt Williams to check and see. I don't think they're going to look. He just gave a safe sign to home plate umpire Mark Ripperger. But this ball jumps up and bites J.J. Hardy, a lot like that double play ball last night. Jumped up and bit Jonathan Scope. It looks like, for whatever reason, this infield playing a little bit more firm than it's played all season. You haven't seen those hops.
All right. Michael A. Taylor, do they turn him loose with 2 outs? Last time we thought they might with 1 out. He got turned loose when Ramos hit one down the line for an RBI double. Max Scherzer is on deck here, bottom of the 6th. But Casey Jansen is throwing. Taylor looked like a good jump, and it is no contest at second base. His 16th of the year.
You know, I love the fact that Michael Taylor likes to run early in the count. And if you're wondering why, it gives the hitter pretty much the whole at-bat to drive him in. So many times you see base stealers with 2 outs, wait till 2 strikes. They steal second base because they're waiting for an off-speed pitch. Michael Taylor rolls early, and now it gives Wilson Ramos a chance, a legitimate chance to drive him in. I think the stolen base with 2 strikes and 2 outs so overrated because now as a hitter, I got 1 pitch, and it's going to be a nasty pitch to drive you in. That's a very valuable stolen base right there by Michael Taylor.
Buck Showalter's looking back at his guys. You know, FP, that play, you talk about this often. Second baseman came forward to get the throw, and Taylor got in behind him. If he'd waited for the throw,
we'll
never know. But it was close.
If I remember right, Jonathan Scope had a big tag play when the Nats played the Orioles in Baltimore that was a difference maker in the game.
Ramos a chance now. If they pitch to him to drive in another run, it's 0-1. Pitcher on deck. Although if he would pitch around Ramos, the Nats could pinch hit. Even though it appears now, at least for the moment, the plan is to have Scherzer pitch the 7th. Casey Jansen's certainly ready. Don't want to give extra base runners when you don't have to, but some managers might pitch around Ramos here and force Matt Williams' hand on what to do with Scherzer. For now, they're pitching to Wilson. And Ramos will stroke one out to right. Flaherty on the run, and he'll make that catch. He had a busy inning in right field. So the Nats unable to pick up another run. Long way to go. 3-2 home team. Scenario tomorrow, it'll be Tanner Roark against rookie Tyler Wilson. There is no Nats extra pregame tomorrow, so we will join you straight up at 4 o'clock, FP and I, from the booth here, and then first pitch at 4:05. Check out all the details if you want to come to the ball game tomorrow at Nationals.com, or call the office 202-675-NATS for tickets. So here's Max Scherzer, 104.72. The pitches, the strikes. He's gone 6 for the 15th, actually for the 29th time this year. Tillman just went 6 for the 15th time. And Max throws a strike to J.J. Hardy, the number 8 hitter.
David Wright just tied that game in New York.
Did he? Hit a home run last night. That ball is well hit out to the gap. Taylor trying to cut it off. He does. Makes a really good throw, but it was so deep Hardy gets into second base. Max up around 110 pitches now.
Nice swing by J.J. Hardy. Leadoff double here in the 7th for the Orioles, down by 1. And it looked like a pretty good pitch from Scherzer. He just digs out the slider down the zone. And watch Michael A. Taylor make this way closer than most center fielders in baseball would have. Backhand play. The former shortstop comes up throwing a bullet on the money. Gotta love the effort right here by Michael Taylor, don't you?
He leads all rookies in outfield assists with 6 on the year. Here's the switch hitting pinch hitter, Jimmy Paredes. 2 for 7 career against Max Scherzer. He's had American League time with Kansas City and Baltimore. Max jammed him and gets an inside out foul ball to the left side.
Yeah, he wanted that pitch outside. He threw it inside.
Lefty Matt Thornton, right-hander Casey Jansen. Casey's already thrown an inning or 2 out there.
Pitching for the strikeout. He doesn't want Paredes to advance the runner, obviously, especially at 1-2.
On a pitch up. This will be out of play. Pitch count started the inning at 104. Trying to get that heater by him, and at 97, Paredes stays alive.
Yeah, he's letting it rip right now, but he's made a few location mistakes there to Paredes, but the 97 right there let him get away with it. He wanted that fastball away. He can hit the fly ball to left. Max doesn't care. He just doesn't want him to pull the ball on the ground or hit a deep fly ball to right.
Nissan with the entire at bat here. Quite a battle it is. Target away. Scherzer gets him on the corner. Paredes unable to react, and a big out with no advancement by the runner. Strikeout number 12.
That's the pitch he's been trying to make for about 3 pitches. And he humps up to 98 on this fastball and darts the location. Perfect pitch. You see the reaction from Scherzer. He's fired up.
Now Gerardo Parra 1 for 3 on the night. I was just thinking, if Matt goes to the mound, does he get another dose of "I want this"? 1 out, 7th inning. Escobar even with a bag at third. Parra can run. He's late for 97.
Watch Max. Just after the pitch, watch Max. I mean, just focus in on Max Scherzer right now. He's got the steel and sheet thing backing up on the mound, and he is some kind of fired up. He gets me fired up.
Ball cap soaked, undershirt soaked. On the appeal, Brian O'Nora says no swing.
Got something barking. I think it's his right shoulder.
Yeah, something about that swing last time up when he got the base hit, it appeared. Slow getting back in. He is letting it all out here.
Hey, it's that time of year. Late September, you're 4.5 back in the wild card race. 2 words for everybody. And more Advil. There's a lot of guys right now that are just pounding the Advil this time of year. But Parra, I don't know if he'd keep going. He is trying to gut it out here for his skipper.
And this is interesting because the Orioles do not have another left-handed bat except for their third catcher, Steve Clevenger. They've already used switch hitter Jimmy Paredes in this inning. So if Parra comes out, he'd have to be replaced by somebody like Nolan Reimold. Looks like he'll stay. Having a hard time saying goodbye.
Any extra little second when you're at 116 pitches is a good thing if you're Max Scherzer right now. Get your breath, maybe climb the ladder with another fastball, but he's been sitting at 96 and he's touched 98 in this inning.
Runner at second, 1 out, top of the 7th, and a 1-2 count to Gerardo Parra, who steps out. And he's tired of waiting. He gets time from Mark Ripperger.
But if you ever quick pitch out of that thing, he would get some strikeouts. I'm not talking about the quick pitch that's not acceptable. Just doesn't hold it so long and goes almost like a slide step. He might lock somebody up.
And a 1-2. That is a fair ball, and Clint Robinson saves a run, goes to the bag and gets the out with Hardy at third. One of Clint Robinson's best plays of the year.
I mean, he just kept his team ahead by 1. That would have been runner on third maybe with 1 out. This had triple written all over it. A bullet down the line. He dives. Who knows where that ball's going to go wrestle down the corner. It looked like Bryce was shaded Parra to right center. So that may have been a triple because Parra can run it. Look at Scherzer. Fired up, and now he's got the crowd behind him. Everybody on their feet at Nats Park trying to will Max Scherzer through this 7th inning.
And it's Manny Machado in the way. Well, we remember his last at bat. Tried to call time, didn't get it. Was leaving the box when Max threw a fastball right down the middle.
It's a good ball game.
A little bit up and away on 1 and 2. Runner at third base, 2 outs, 1-run game, 7th inning. And Manny Machado kills one to left center. Unbelievable. Taking his time getting to first, and the Orioles are on top, 4-3. That ball left this yard as quick as any we've seen this year.
The 30th home run of the year for Manny Machado was a huge one. And Max Scherzer gave it everything he had. No need to hang your head. He left it all out there. Manny Machado just stepped up in a big way for the Orioles.
Couple of home runs tonight. Pierce and Machado. O's by 1. Comes back to get Max Scherzer twice tonight. 27 on the year, 18 since the All-Star break. This ball was crushed.
You know, I may be mistaken, but I think his last pitch against the Orioles in Camden Yards was to Adam Jones. It was a slider, and it was a 2-run homer. His last pitch here tonight against the Orioles, the second time facing him, was a bullet right down the middle and went out faster than it came in. Manny Machado turned that ball around and gave his ball club a 1-run lead.
Game summary brought to you by Mercedes-Benz of Arlington, Mercedes-Benz of Alexandria. So the home run ball, Machado, 33 homers first 2 years in the big leagues, really 2+ years, and now he has 30 this year. Thornton to Davis. Ground ball right side. Rendon will shuffle it to the pitcher. Very close and out. 4-1 on 1 pitch. And now we arrive at the 7th inning stretch here at Nationals Park. Fans in orange ecstatic. Fans in red a bit shocked. They thought Max Scherzer would get it to the 7th inning stretch. And now the Orioles have the lead. Telecast is presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the Washington Nationals. Max Scherzer, Wilson Ramos, the battery working together no more tonight. They did for 122 pitches.
I mean, you had to love what you saw from Scherzer there. And I mean, that was a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. He threw it right where he wanted to. Sometimes, I said it earlier in the game, good hitters beat good pitches.
Rookie Michael Givens, second rounder 6 years ago, been around for a while. He was a position player for 3 years. Converted to pitching in the 2013 season. And that's a breaking ball. Matt Dendecker, the pinch hitter for Matt Thornton here. Well, the only good thing about the scenario that just unfolded, the Nats have 3 innings with the bats to do something about a 1-run deficit. Givens, 19th appearance, couple of wins, 2.19 ERA, 30 strikeouts in 24 2/3. And the league's only hitting .217 against him.
I mean, you know what Matt Williams was thinking right there. His bullpen has let him down this year, to be quite honest, and he had his ace on the mound.
Yep.
And his ace was getting after it.
And Dendecker's line drive picked off by J.J. Hardy.
And based on what's transpired this season, from, you know, bringing guys in and them not getting the job done, Matt Williams did what most managers would do right there with their ace on the mound. I'm living and dying with my guy, and the velocity was up and he was cruising. Just Manny Machado beat him on a pitch.
Totally agree with you. Gave up the double, got 2 crucial outs. And that's kind of the way the game used to be managed. It used to be the starters' game to win or not to win. Not always to lose, but maybe give up a lead here and there. But that's the thing about tonight's game. As I mentioned earlier, Tillman took his lumps, but he stuck around for 110 pitches, and both guys were horses tonight.
Yeah.
2 balls, 1 strike.
I'm telling you, 99 managers out of 100 would have done the same thing.
And Rendon with a fly ball to center. Gerardo Parra evidently okay out there to catch and throw. 2 outs and Escobar coming up. He already has 2 hits tonight.
A big at bat right here, trying to jump aboard for Bryce Harper, and I don't see any lefties up in the Orioles bullpen, so this turns out to be a big at bat with 2 outs and nobody on.
Bottom of the 8th in New York. Braves Mets still 3-3. 94. This guy used to be a burner on the base paths. A lot of stolen bases early in his career. And before converting to pitching, he jams Escobar there. That ball came spinning back and almost got behind Jonathan Scope. The Nats go 1-2-3. So with Harper leading off the 8th, the bullpen needs to keep it a 1-run game. There, Orioles led early. Nats got a couple in the 5th, and the Machado dramatic home run. 7th inning, long way to go in this one. It's the bullpens versus each other right now. And Max Scherzer, what a battle. That pitch count way up there, and he ended up into the 120 range.
I mean, he fought and he battled and he pitched well tonight, and it's just been a good baseball game. And you talk about, Manny Machado coming up clutch. You still got some time to get back in this ball game, but what just happened right there in that at bat is what baseball is all about. A guy challenge you with his best bolt against your best bolt, and sometimes you win those and sometimes you don't. But you had to love the whole challenge factor right there, and two great players going at each other mano a mano.
Casey Janssen for the 8th, and a strike to Steve Pearce. Janssen, a scoreless 8th, struck out Pearce looking last night. This ball high in the air, right field corner, and fading out of play. So Janssen had a 1-2-3 8th inning last night against Pearce, Scope, and Joseph. Tonight it's Pearce, Wieters, and Scope. Braves batting top of the 9th at New York, 3-3. Off-speed pitch hanging up, and Pearce way out ahead of it. And he has 2 extra base hits tonight. In the first inning, 2-run homer, now a leadoff double in the 8th.
Steve Pearce doing some damage tonight. 2-run homer in the first. Now a leadoff double here in the 8th. Just stayed through that off-speed pitch nicely, and it's up to Casey Janssen to keep this a 1-run ball game.
Matt Wieters is 1 for 3. You know what the Orioles are thinking here. I mean, Wieters has some pop. They want to move that runner and make sure Bryce Harper can't tie the game in the bottom of this inning. Wieters will bust his bat. Ian Desmond is there, and that's a big first out. Runner frozen at second. The bat went as far as the ball.
The 2015 10-year anniversary season concludes with buy one, get one ticket offer for fans who attend a Nationals inaugural season game in 2005. So if you went to a game in 2005, you must present a photo of yourself at that ball game, the inaugural season, or a photo or a hard copy of a 2005 inaugural season ticket at Nats Park. Well, you get the deal. If you were there in 2005, you get a ticket for it.
Yeah. 10-year-old tickets, 10-year-old photos.
That promo written by Tolstoy.
Was he known for verbiage?
Yeah. Have you read War and Peace?
I've read War. Never made it through the rest of it. One ball, one strike. This one in front of the runner, so nowhere for Pearce to go. Ian Desmond throws out Jonathan Scope.
That one had a tricky little hop at the end. Nice play by Ian Desmond. Winfield playing hard.
Ryan Flaherty now with 2 outs. A single in 3 trips. 0 for 4 career against Casey Janssen. First base open. They'll walk him and go righty-righty with J.J. Hardy. who's 4 for 16 against Jansen. Byron Kerr is in the ballpark tonight with Ray Knight. It's the Nats Extra postgame show. Right after the game, presented by Who But W.B. Mason. J.J. Hardy, the double that got them going last inning. Orioles, and there's Rivera, who's been throwing for a while for the Nats. O's just now getting a right-hander up in their bullpen. Oliver Drake. He's up there showing, at least showing Michael Givens on deck. And remember, he was a position player. Casey Jansen wants to end the 8th inning right here. 1-1 to Hardy, who's driven in 35 runs. He hacks one out to center. Taylor. Inning over. Casey Jansen, a couple of spotless 8th innings in this series. Harper, Worth, and Robinson. Big 0 on the board. Tying run with Bryce straight ahead. Finale of the series tomorrow. Rookie Tyler Wilson, 25 years of age. And Wilson is 2-2 with a 3.72 ERA. Tanner Roark 4-6. His ERA stands at 4.73, but at home he's 12-7. We'll get you going at 4 o'clock. No Nats Extra pregame tomorrow. FP and I and our crew will join you straight up at 4. First pitch at 4:05. Another frame here for the young pitcher Michael Givens. Bryce Harper leads off. 0 for 1, 2 walks in the series. 0 for 2, 5 walks.
Bryce hitting .320 against lefties this year with 7 home runs. Buck Showalter not choosing the first 2 games of this series to use a left-hander against Bryce Harper.
Approaching Kenny Singleton now. Bryce has one fewer walk than his strikeout total for the year now. And big things happening in New York. The Braves just put 3 on the board in the top of the 9th and lead the Mets 6-3. Freddie Freeman has hit his 17th home run of the year.
Yeah, Bryce Harper's got to be thinking about hitting one of the seats here. I mean, if he bunts, he's only stole 6 bases on the year. He'd have to steal second base early in the count to make it a good play.
And with a fastball upstairs, Givens strikes him out.
Hey fans, remember our Washington D.C. Lexus dealers? They're donating $250 to the Children's National Health System for every Tater a Nats player hits this season. So keep them coming. It's for a wonderful cause. Lexus, the pursuit of perfection.
Strike call.
Trying to tie it up right there.
Eric Davis closest to you, Jonathan Papelbon, if the Nats tie or take the lead. And Worth on a pitch up and in, can't get to it. This kid Givens has some arm. 5 in a row, last 2 on strikes. And he faces Clint Robinson next.
Fastball running hard.
Robinson a chopper, and this one's going right to the 9th inning. 6 outs. Getting his first taste of the battle of the Beltways, Michael Givens. 4-3 O's. Ball on Masson, brought to you by Land Rover, above and beyond. By visitannapolis.org. Find the Chesapeake experience at visitannapolis.org. And by Verizon Fios. Leave slow internet behind. Get Fios. 4-3 Orioles, top of the 9th inning. Jonathan Papelbon in to keep it that way. And Tyler Moore will take over at first base here. So that, you would think, is a double switch. He'll bat 9th, pitcher spot Robinson's spot just retired. Papelbon to get 3 outs.
A fastball, slider split. 57th appearance for Jonathan Papelbon this year. ERA at a sparkling 1.93. An opponent's hitting .226 righties, just 183 against the Nats closer.
Steve Clevenger, the left-handed hitting catcher, faces Papelbon for the first time. Running fastball, got the edge. Bottom of the 9th now in New York. The Mets down by 3.
Freddie Freeman hit a home run off Familia. First home run Familia's given up since July 31st.
There's Darren O'Day, who got the save here last night. 3 right-handed batters due up, and Tyler Moore 4th. One-two pitch. Clevenger reaching. Then he rolled it over to Anthony Rendon.
Well, you have these in your hair, Bob. Be sure to text Masson's word of the day highlights to 29292 for your chance to win an autographed prize pack from Masson. Brought to you by Hair Cuttery.
Mine are natural.
Home of the Smile Back Guarantee. No small print, just big smiles. Highlights.
Well, I had no idea what was coming until I looked up and saw that graph.
You ran right into it.
I thought you were going to say headphones.
No, highlights.
They've been in my hair for 40-some years.
Yep, blonde tips. I can tell.
Parra 1 for 4 tonight. And against Jonathan Papelbon, 1 for 7 career. First pitch outside. And a 2-0 is right on the outside edge.
That could be the bucket of filth, being guarded heavily at this moment, and we would love to see it tonight.
2-1 pitch. Machado on deck. Off speed, swing and a miss. 2 down with Machado coming on.
Well, last time up, the game changer for Manny Machado. His 30th home run of the year. Max Scherzer, 98-mile-an-hour fastball, emptying out the tank. And it looked like it was middle away. And Machado reached out there and pulled it into the red seats. And that's been the difference in this ball game. One swing by the Orioles' third baseman.
Yeah, he didn't call time. And then Jonathan Papelbon puts one right up about the bill of his helmet.
Well, I don't know if that was a purpose pitch or not. You'd have to ask Jonathan Papelbon, but on the replay we showed you, Manny Machado stood there for a second and watched his home run.
Oh, it took him a long time to get to first base. That's on the outside edge, 1-1. These two facing each other for the first time, so no personal history. And that got him. And Papelbon has been ejected. Buck Showalter running out down the first baseline to keep Machado in the game. Some Nats have left the dugout. Some Orioles have left the dugout. And Jonathan Papelbon hits Machado with 2 outs, and he's been tossed.
You could read Papelbon's lips. He said, "How do you know I was throwing at him?" That's his argument right now. How do you know I threw at him? I mean, he is pleading his case. I'll tell you what, Buck Showalter standing right with Manny Machado at first base, and he's done a great job of keeping his third baseman in this game. If you remember earlier when Machado struck out, Showalter came out of the dugout. He kept Machado in the game. If Machado would have got run right there, he wouldn't have hit the 2-run homer. So you got to give Showalter a lot of credit tonight for keeping his third baseman in this baseball game.
Right now the teams kind of looking at each other from across the diamond. Umpires shooing everybody back into their dugouts. So the umpiring crew and Buck Showalter doing a good job of keeping things from escalating. And now the Nats will have to take a while to warm up a pitcher. Well, these kind of ball games, and at times this sort of thing happening, can fuel a rivalry even though you only play home and home once a year.
Well, I can see Manny Machado's point, and I can see Jonathan Papelbon's point. If you look at it objectively, you hit a home run, you watched it, you got hit. If you're Jonathan Papelbon, maybe you hit him, maybe you didn't, but how would Mark Rippinger know?
Yeah, and this all came in years ago with the whole pitching inside and warning things, that all of a sudden the umpires had to become mind readers.
Well, to that statement by you, after the first pitch that was around the coconut, he should have issued warnings if he thought that there was intent there. Come out and say warning, warning. But after that pitch, there was no warning issued. So 2 pitches later, you determined that it was on purpose? I mean, if you ask me, I think it was, but my opinion doesn't matter. You have to ask the guys down there.
Buck Showalter still with Manny Machado.
So the first pitch up and in, second pitch a slider down the way, the third pitch a fastball right around his left shoulder. Machado not happy. You can read lips, you know what he said. And Rippinger threw Papelbon out immediately, and Papelbon saying, how do you know? If you can get a shot of Papelbon talking to Rippinger, you could see him. How do you know I threw at him? That's exactly what he was saying.
Right there, he's with Alan Porter. All the umpires converged on the situation in a hurry. What a night for Manny Machado. Upset that he got called out on strikes when he tried to call time. His manager kept him in the game, as FP noted. Then he hits a dramatic home run. Then he gets buzzed and then hit in the 9th inning. And now Felipe Rivera will come in and pitch to Chris Davis.
You know what you rarely see, if ever, in today's game is somebody charging the mound. When's the last time you saw somebody charge the mound after they got hit by the pitch?
Yeah,
it just doesn't happen in baseball anymore. Not that it's a good thing. It just doesn't happen.
Now you wonder what happens if a fastball gets away here. Davis a double, 1 for 2, and 2 walks. These two facing each other for the first time. The Orioles steal the least number of bases of any team in baseball, 38 in 151 games. Davis goes high in the air to left for Jason Worth. So Rivero comes in, does his job. Fireworks diffused. Desmond Taylor Ramos, bottom of the 9th.
The Nationals need at least 1 run to move this game into extra innings. A little bit of drama there in the 9th between Jonathan Papelbon and Manny Machado. Byron Curray Nats Extra postgame just around the corner. Now Machado hits the home run, very dramatic one, obviously, gives the Orioles the lead. Maybe paused a little bit to enjoy it, but I think that was a little bit of the battle with Max Scherzer. Then Papelbon hits him. What do you make of that? A little retaliation from the Nats, or just a pitch that got away from Papelbon?
I got no way to know if it's retaliation of him standing there and watching the ball. I don't know. Somebody could certainly take a little bit of take it personally, but I got no problem with him drilling him. I just would like for it to be from the waist down. I don't like it up in this area here. So if it was, in fact, him throwing him at him to dust him, I'd like to see the ball down around his waist. If that's a purpose pitch, I don't like to see it up around the head, neck, shoulders. That's all.
All right, we'll talk about it in postgame, but first, Nats got a rally. Bob and FP.
All right, Byron, thank you. Thank you, Ray. Desmond Taylor Ramos, right-handed batters. Papelbon has been ejected, but evidently you can sit and watch the game free on the bench. You're not supposed to, but nobody doing anything about it. I don't see any disguise. That looks like the Jonathan we all know.
If you get ejected from a game, you see umpires actually stop the game and chase you out of the dugout into the tunnel at least.
Ian Desmond against Darren O'Day, 0 for 3 career. O'Day got the save last night. Struck out Lobaton, popped up Tyler Moore, struck out Anthony Rendon. The sidewinder, breaking ball, strike 1. It's a final in New York. Mets lost to the Braves for the 2nd night in a row. The Nats would hate to pass up another opportunity to gain a game. At 87 with lots of late sink. Desmond a base hit and 3 trips tonight. Front door on the breaking ball. Desmond frozen. 1 out.
Yeah, backup slider right here. He saw the rotation, thought it was going to the other side of the plate, and just backed up, even though Wieters was set up on the outer half. It still got played on the inner half.
Michael A. Taylor reached last night, leading off the ninth on the fly ball, muffed by Pierce down the right field line. Never made it beyond first base. So Michael 1 for 2 career against the right-hander. Big time battle now. Target away. He threw it right down the middle as it ended up and gets the strikeout. 2 down.
That slider from O'Day acted more like a changeup tonight. Not really breaking a whole lot. Just kind of floating in there at 79 miles an hour. You see the sidearm delivery, and you see the rotation of the slider. Just didn't do a whole lot. Sometimes those cement mixers can work nice for you.
Ramos waiting for one, and he pops it up. And the Orioles have won this series, and they'll be trying for a sweep tomorrow. And the Nats frustrated with the Braves beating the Mets 2 nights in a row, and the magic number goes down by 1 each night. So the Orioles hold on to win it 4-8-0. For the Nats 3-6-0. Max Scherzer will get a frustrating loss, and he's now 12-12 on the year. For FP and Dan, Bob Carpenter, the Orioles beat the Nats again 4-3, and they lead the season series 3-2. Tomorrow, no Nats Extra pregame. We'll join you at 4 for Game 3 of the series. This has been a presentation of Masson. Byron and Ray straight ahead from the booth. So long for just a while.